Hi, I'm Dick Eydt from Bites by Eydt. We cater to exceptional clienteles along the eastern seaboard, from Manhattan to Greenwich to Nantucket, down to Florida, to Vero Beach, Boca Raton, and we're based out of Atlanta, Georgia. We cook restaurant quality food that is easy and simple to make, that you can do at your home for your family and friends. What we're making this afternoon is our fan favorites, our favorite bites, the best bites. So let's begin. Today we're going to do a salmon. It will be a seared salmon, and we'll make a sour cream based sauce with dill, capers, red onions, and a little bit of lemon juice. First we're going to show how to cut it. So when we cut the salmon, all the pieces are the same size, so they all cook at the same temperature. So let's start. We're going to take off the flap at the end over here, and so when we do these pieces here, this will be cooked to a medium well. So it's quite thin. It's very tasty with all the fat in there, but we like to cut it, and I tell my clients that this is, the thinner the piece, the more well done it's cooked. I'll cut off the tail and cut this into 2-ounce pieces and cut these in half. So again, they are easy to cook. They'll all cook at the same time. And then for the main body of it, I learned this from Thomas Keller. I'll cut it right down the middle, and these two pieces will be about the same thickness. Again, I'll cut them into maybe 2-ounce sizes, and you can see it's the same thickness all the way around, and so it'll cook at the same time. These pieces will be cooked to about medium rare. Okay, I'll take the tail out, put that in the end, and there you go. Of course, we're going to season it with sea salt and pepper and a little bit of extra virgin olive oil by Colavito. So we'll take a couple of pieces of the thick one and then a couple of pieces of the thin one. Drizzle a little olive oil in there, mix it around. This will also help when we sear it, so it will sear nicely. Season, a little sea salt, mix, and now it's good to go. Okay, the baking steel I put on the top of the stove top, and it's been heating up. So that's going to really make it so it can sear nicely, and you'll hear the sizzle as soon as we put it on there. Okay, so we have the baking steel. I started out on medium heat, turned it up a little bit to get it up to temperature. Both burners are on, and most of the heat will be in the middle of this baking steel. And I'm going to start with the thicker pieces of salmon. The last part I'll do is the thinner pieces of salmon. These will take longer, those will take less. They'll all come out about at the same time. So we can hear a nice sizzle, and it'll be a nice sear that we get, and that's what we're looking for. It's starting to get some nice color on the bottom. We can always add a little bit more of seasoning to it, even though I added it in the beginning. Put just a little bit on top. And let's take a look and see if this is ready. So look at that color that you have. And this is really looks nice. The presentation is good. You can see how it's cooked about a quarter of the way through here. It's going to cook another quarter of the way through on the bottom, and then this will be cooked about medium rare, which is how I like it, and that's why we do the smaller pieces second, and these will be cooked all the way through. So now that it's cooked, this will cook about the same time, and they'll all be ready. This piece is even thinner, so it's going to cook even that much faster. So you can either use tongs or you can use a fish spatula. Sometimes I like to use both. Just make sure with this fish spatula, it doesn't stick. And it comes off in a nice piece. You don't lose that searing. And you can already see on this that it's cooked about halfway through. And since these pieces will be cooked on the medium, some people like the medium, it's almost ready to flip over. A little bit longer just to check on the sear. This one has a nice sear already. Flip it over. So when I present this, I typically do this, if I do an entire side of salmon, I'll do a salmon and a fillet, and it'll be these size of pieces, and this will serve about 20 people, and 20 people with the fillet. So I put it on a bed of lettuce, either arugula or mixed field greens, and then as people are taking their salmon or taking their fillet, they get a little bit of a salad also if they'd like to. Now if the salmon is too thick, I can always flip it on its end and just cook off another side to it. And these pieces, I'll look around the edges to see how it's coming along before I touch it. And I think that's almost a good sear. Get a little bit more color on these guys, and these guys should be ready to go. Nice flavor on that. Take a look at this. Nice on that side here too. Okay, so we just plated the seared salmon on the baking steel, and the baking steel is so versatile. It provides just a look at the sear that we get on this, and look at the coloring that we get. It's just phenomenal. You can do any kind of fish. I do sea bass, I do our salmon. I've also made English muffins from scratch with it, which is phenomenal. You can make baguette, and of course the flatbreads and pizzas is what it's made for. But because it's weighs about 22 pounds, it's about 3/8 of an inch thick, it absorbs all the heat, and it provides a great sear. Okay, now that we have the salmon done, let's make the dill sauce. So, start with a little bit of dill. I don't chop it up too finely because I like people to see pieces of the dill. Take out the seeds, the stems. We will slice up and dice some red onions. And again, I don't do the red onions too thin and too small. I like to, so that they get a little bit of a crunch and a bite to it, and so I make it a little bit bigger. We'll add the sour cream in. Add in the dill, the onions. If you wanted to, you can leave out the horseradish, but I always like a little bit of a zing, a little bit of pop to it. I always add capers. So I'm gonna add, because I like horseradish, I'm gonna add a little bit of horseradish. A little seasoning of salt and pepper. That's good. One more mix, and we're good to go. So, next we're going to make a couscous salad with cucumber, tomato, feta, and arugula, and a little vinaigrette. So let's get started with that. So now we're going to do a fun salad. It's a combination. It's couscous, so you have a little bit of starch, tomatoes, cucumbers, feta, and then we'll toss in a little arugula. It's a little bit of a salad, a little bit of starch, and some vegetables, and a little bit of cheese. It's a nice salad. It's light, refreshing, and it goes well with anything. It goes very well with the salmon. So let's start with the tomatoes. These I'll dice up. These are nice ripe tomatoes. And I'll cut these into bite-sized pieces. Not too small, not too big. So again, when you take a bite out of it, you're really tasting the tomato. That's my common theme for all the foods that I do, is that you get a good taste of all the ingredients. Okay, we'll add this into our mixing bowl. Okay, cucumber. I'll take this, cut it down the middle, cut it into quarters, and again, bite-sized pieces. Whenever you're cutting, just take your time. Haste makes waste. Don't want to cut yourself. Maybe a 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch by 1/2 an inch squares is really all you need. Okay, and we'll add this into it. If you want to add some cilantro just to give it some good flavoring, we can do that. I sort of like that. Okay, add a little bit of couscous in there. And the feta cheese. The feta I just crumble into it. It gives it a little bit more of a, I don't like to cut it. I think it's a better look and feel to it. And then we'll add our arugula. A little bit of lemon juice. Give it that freshness. And I always like adding balsamic glaze. It's a little sweet. A little bit of Calavito extra virgin olive oil. You can't forget our seasoning, little sea salt, and a little pepper. You're done. Easy, simple salad, fresh, clean, tasty, colorful. We'll mix it up, and then we can plate it. The last thing I'll do is, for a little bit more coloring, I'll put a little bit more balsamic glaze on the top. Okay, I'll plate the salmon. You can put the dill sauce either on top or on the bottom or the side. I always like to put everything on the bottom so you can see the fish. I don't like covering it up, especially since it has such a nice coloring to it. There you go. Two nice dishes. Couscous salad, seared salmon with a dill sauce. Enjoy. We always like to thank our sponsors, Rugged Road Outdoors. This is how we bring all the food over. The Ziploc bags from SC Johnson from Fisk, and the baking steel, versatile, gives a great coloring on it. Want to thank you very much. We'll see you soon.